in a rather uncomfortable way for me.
Oh,
Cringe.
hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Parenthood. If this is your first time here, Parenthood is a space for real stories, for the unpolished, layered, honest versions of parenthood. The exhaustion and the wonder, the doubt and the pride, the grief and the love that somehow stretches us into entirely new versions of ourselves. We bring parents from different walks of life together, not because there is one right way to raise a child, but because there are a thousand ways to love one. Today's episode is personal, nuanced, grounded, and I'm grateful we get to hold this conversation with gentleness. My guest today is Gayatri Vathsan, a life coach, a thoughtful human being, and a parent who has walked a journey shaped not just by love but by advocacy, self discovery, resilience, and learning. She has been married to her husband Srinivasan for 20 years, a gentle, thoughtful, shy, literature loving software engineer, a hands on father, and I've been told a brilliant cook. Together, they're raising their son Krishna, a child whose presence has invited them into curiosity, compassion, and a deeper understanding of neurodiversity. Parenting Krishna through the lens of autism has been, in her words, a roller coaster. Some moments have been deeply challenging, some transformative, and many unexpectedly beautiful. I'm really grateful she agreed to share not just the practical parts of her journey, but the emotional ones, the identity shifts, the internal rewiring, the growth, and the parts that people don't often see. Gayatri, welcome. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you so much, Neha. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. Let's start from you. If you had to introduce yourself using just three words or phrases, not roles, not labels, but the essence of who you are, what would those be?
Mother, fiction fiend, travel enthusiast.
Wow, wow. And if your life were a book, what would its title be and what chapter are you living right now?
I don't know which chapter that I'm living right now. Hopefully, somewhere in the middle. But what would the title be? Adventures in life? Pretty boring because everybody has an adventure in life, but I can't think of any other name offhand.
Right.
Fantasies of life, perhaps, because that's my favorite fancy fiction.
Wow, wow. And now tell me about your family, about the three of you, the energy, the rhythms, the inside jokes, the contrasts.
Well, the three of us became the three of us not very early in our marriage, but about 9 years down the line. And initially, it was obviously a lot of excitement, a lot of fear also. I mean, new parents for the first time, and it was like scary. There's a little human being that you're responsible for at least 4 to 5 years, completely responsible, 100% responsible for at least 4 to 5 years. And after that, we did expect that the responsibility would taper off slowly,
Right.
gradually, yes, but would taper off. And what were our inside jokes about that? I used to tell my husband that when our kid turns 18, I didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl at the time when we were pregnant. So when kid turns 18, I'm turning him or her loose. You're most welcome to come home anytime for meals and a bed and clothes and stuff like that. But I'm not going to take responsibility. It's their responsibility. Their life is going to be their responsibility. I'll be happy to share any knowledge, advice, etc. But please take your own decisions yourself. Don't expect me to take them for you anymore. My husband used to laugh at me and say, yeah, right, let me see if you're actually capable of doing that, when push comes
Yeah.
to shove. Just you wait, just watch me, etc., etc. And then Krishna was born, and I think my kind of disappointment was that he was my son, and I also wanted a daughter. There
Oh,
was this little kid, and when my daughter placed him in my, not exactly placed him in my hand, showed him to me. immediately after he was born. They took my glasses away, by the way. I'm extremely short-sighted. I
Oh.
saw this tiny, waxy little lizard-like creature. Obviously, he looked like a lizard on top of his head. Who's there? It was like, okay, that's mine now. He's mine. I don't care if he's he or she, he's mine. That was the first feeling I had. And then the doctor said, you can rest now, man. I was thrilled. I said, let me sleep for a bit now. Then, slowly, Krishna grew and he was the very bright toddler, very talkative toddler, chappa chappa kid, though he started speaking a little late. He started speaking when he was about 1.5 years old. Very, very alert, very present in everything. And I was like, yeah, okay, relax, Krishna, you're very energetic. I'm not. I'm the ulta of you. And he grew a little more, and he grew a little more. And by a little past 3.5 was his first regression.
Mm.
And we didn't know, by the way, it was a regression. But eventually, once the diagnosis came through, I mean, there's a whole story about that. But very briefly, once we went to the doctor, had him assessed, and then they said he was autistic. It was like, okay, big pause, big jolt. And after our first reactions, which very honestly were a lot of grief, a lot of crying, a lot of disbelief, by the way, once we got out of this, that doctor doesn't know anything. We'll go for a second opinion.
Mm.
And after all of that, also, after a couple of months, after a few months, so my husband and I were just talking about the whole thing, and then said, okay, probably there goes my plans of voting him out at 18.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very different trajectory that happened. So, yeah, the life throws at curveballs, right? So, what else can you do? You have to
Yeah.
feel them.
Yeah, yeah. Something struck me. You said he started speaking when he was 1.5, and you said that he was late.
Hmm.
Is that late?
Hmm. Apparently, don't ask me, I'm no expert. But according to friends, relatives, it's a little late. So around 10 months to 12 months, apparently, all the kids that my relatives, my parents, and my friends have known had begun speaking. I don't know. And but we weren't very bothered about that at all because mom kept saying that there are many kids who either they speak before they are 1 year old or they usually start speaking at around two plus. So
Hmm.
1 to 2 don't expect any great magic to happen, but he began at around 1.5 plus. The one word, two word
Hmm.
statements and sentences, which made sense. So it began at the time.
Yeah.
But none of us was very bothered about, this not speaking at that time because it was apparently normal and natural and fine.
Yeah.
Very, very alert kid. So who would expect, that there was something very different about him?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you mentioned about that first regression. Tell me about that if you're comfortable. What happened and how did you, what did you do when it happened?
It was a very odd regression. This was in summer, sometime around April, May. And those are the hottest months in Bangalore. So that's where we are located, outskirts of suburbs in Bangalore. And Krishna hadn't started play school. Rather, I hadn't started play school for Krishna because we didn't want to stuff him into the rigors of pre-academics already.
Yeah.
Wanted him to, just be free, be happy. And it's like both my husband and I just started with kindergarten and we turned out pretty decent. I mean, like, we're all educated and all, and we can speak and all, and we hold jobs and all. So that was the mindset that we had. He was scared. He was playing at home. We'd drawn all the curtains, and he was just in his shorts and underwear. And then he suddenly pulled off his shorts and began to pee in the hall. And he was giggling all the while. Then he, not just in one spot or two spots, it was like literally he was marking out his territory. A nice, beautiful circle he marked in the hall. And then my mom and I were saying, what? Krishna, use the washroom. Because he was completely toilet trained by that time.
Yeah.
And even when he was playing with my mom in the puja room or if we were outside in the garden or something like that, if he needed to pee, he'd just drop everything, go rushing inside, go to the washroom, pee properly, and call me for help to clean himself up and pull off his clothes. So that he needed help with. And then this kid is peeing everywhere. And I was like, what? And then my mom said, it's just playing. Maybe because it's so hot or whatever it is, he's bored, you stuck him inside the house. He can't go out. And Then what did I do? Nothing. I just mopped up the mess and took him to the washroom, cleaned him up. And then we started taking him very regularly again to the
Yeah.
washroom. Like, you need to pee, use the washroom. You want to poop. Poop, he never had accidents like this. It began with pee. So, and he seemed okay. Within a week or something, he had almost come back to pre-regression Krishna, but not quite. Because before this pee incident, he was like 100% except for the nights.
Yeah.
Night when he was sleeping, he used to wet the bed, but he was what, 3.5.
Yeah.
I had to put him in diapers at the time because he always had disturbed sleep. So if the bed was wet and he woke up, he wouldn't go back to sleep.
Right.
Probably 3.5. I have enough time for the nighttime toilet training, so let's leave him be. Let give him peaceful sleep at night. So that week was pretty okay, and he seems to have gotten back fully, except about 15 days later, he did not want to go to the washroom at all to pee. So then what I did was I put a bucket outside, just outside one of the washrooms, and said, "You don't want to go inside, you're free to pee here." And he was fine with that. For some reason, he didn't want to use the washroom for peeing because he used to go for pooping. He would poop in the washroom, have his bath in the washroom, or rather have his bath in the garden, sorry. That's where he really loved it, the hose pipe,
Yeah.
and have fun, splash in the tub, play, roll in the mud when you're about it. And
Yeah.
nobody's going to yell at you because you're just bathing, right? So you're free to get muddy if you like. So, yeah, anyways, but he started using the bucket, and it was a little odd, it was a little off, but we thought, okay, he'll get out of it. Maybe it's just a phase, and maybe now he really needs to go to school and have more peers to play with. Because ours is a very isolated, gated community, not too many people around. Lots of safe spaces to play in, lots of wild spaces to play in. But people, other kids, not so many. Usually
Right.
the four of us. And so what happened next? He was anyway starting school in another 2.5 weeks time. I might be a little,
Yeah.
blurry about the timelines, but somewhere about that time he was going to start school. So we were like, yeah, fine. Let's see how he takes it. Speaking with other kids, playing with other kids, and then they have those washroom times. We make one queue and go to the washroom and come back, right? So
Yeah.
he's probably going to get back into the habit with the time. So we started school. Uh, School that first week, I didn't even know something was wrong. Something was very wrong at the time. And but he seemed to go happily enough. I was the anxious one thinking, oh my God, my baby's never been out. He's never been without me. How is he going to manage? And he looked at me and said, Tata, ma, healthy I am as I can walk. I said, yeah, okay, fine. So long as he's happy. And I used to wait in the reception of the school
Yeah.
because it was just barely 3 hours plus. I was the anxious one. I couldn't bear to go back home. Home was half an hour's drive from there. And I would waste an hour in just to and fro, right? So I said,
Yeah.
okay, let me wait with him there. The end of the first week, that Friday, when Krishna came out at 12:30 of his classroom, he came holding his class teacher's hand, and not the IMA's hand. And he was like, he'd been crying really badly. His face was all blotchy and swollen and tear stained, and I was like, what happened? And he saw me. When he saw me, he came running up to me and just clung on. Literally climbed me like a tree and hid his face here in my neck. Buried his face, wouldn't come out. What happened? No, he was fine in the morning. And then the whole story came out that for the entire week, Krishna hadn't been speaking to anybody in the class. He was not sitting anywhere. When asked to sit, he was very hyperactive, jumping, running everywhere, playing with the other kids' hair, pulling the girls' ponytails or their clips or whatever it is that they were wearing, not making eye contact with the teacher, and not communicating at all, basically. And it was like, it's been 5 days. I've
Yeah.
been sitting at the reception. I have told you, I had also shared with the principal that these are my worries because this child has never been out of his family circle in a big crowd ever in his life.
Yeah.
He's been once to an airport, that's it, and where he clung to my neck and went to sleep. He was about 1.5, 2 at
Yeah.
the time. So these are major red flags. So why didn't you raise them? And I said, no, ma'am, we thought we could handle it. I said, what happened today?
Yeah.
Because he didn't come crying and screaming, not screaming. He didn't come crying every day, right? I said, no, no, today he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave the class at about 12 o'clock, and there was still half an hour more. So, but he can't go, right? It's not the time. So we lock the door.
Oh.
And so what? So they locked the door. It's with the entire class door. The rest of the 30 kids are
Yeah,
sitting there.
yeah,
And silently watching this little boy as he has his first meltdown in his life there in front of everyone. They've taken a video and she shared the video. See your son through such a tantrum. And I was like, frankly, I didn't know how to react because I never expected such a thing. I've never seen such a thing in my life. There is this, they had a projector, and the projector screen was hung on the wall. And it looked like a frame, it looked like a window. And he's pounding on that projector, he's trying to scratch and open it, assuming that it might be another door because he ran to the door, but the bolt is on top.
yeah,
Can't reach it. There are no other windows because the windows had bars. There was a single other window. This looked like a door and he's banging on it, scratching it, trying to open it. These people are filming him and laughing. And he's crying his guts out. He's put his head like this and he looks and sobs. One moment that was captured of the camera was like, how when I think about it, I want to throttle that lady. But at the time, I was just shell shocked. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to say. Except that I was sitting right here. You could have called me.
yeah,
I was sitting right here. You were aware of that. And if this has been such an escalation that you have never seen before, I have also never seen before, but it doesn't learn the Krishna at home. The Krishna at home is vibrant, alert, active, meets my eyes beautifully, and communicates with me, most important. He talks to me, he responds, he answers perfectly, smoothly. I never even suspected something was wrong. No, ma'am, this is what he did today. See, he threw the toys. They tried to shake some toys in his face and he took it and threw it. Some building blocks or whatever it was. Anyway, so that was the first day of a 6 month long period of very severe separation anxiety for him. But we knew that obviously that something is wrong, that this is not normal behavior. Focus was first on Krishna,
yeah.
to help with the school, forgive my language, to help with the school at the point. So then he fell sick after that for about a week or so. He had fever, etc., etc. And his father or I had to carry him 24/7. Refused to take off his clothes, refused to even change his diapers. He completely reverted back to diapers, completely lost toilet training of every species because initially he had bladder issues, bladder control issues. He did not have any problem with, indicating when he needed to poo and to
Yeah.
go and poo properly is important. He lost everything. And but anyway, we thought that let's wait, let the fever go, and then we will go to the
Yeah.
doctors. I took an appointment at Benhans for him. And after, I think about, we needed to wait for almost 15 days for that. So we waited, and after the after the fever had settled and everything, we got that whatever the appointments, and so we went in advance. It was 5 days almost of assessments for previous times. So we went every day with Krishna. And at the end of that, they said that yeah, he's autistic, he's on the spectrum, and but he can attend normal school. All he needs is a shadow teacher, and he would probably need some speech therapy, and that's it. So we went back to the school with this diagnosis. They'd given the written thingy
Yeah.
with that letter, and then they said that I'm so sorry, we can't handle this. We don't have provisions for a shadow teacher, etc. And that's when I began, hunting out what the rules actually say because this was a CBSE board school, and they needed to have provisions for a shadow teacher in every school, so long as we as parents were absolutely ready to split the costs for whatever it is, if that was their concern, to have one staff completely for just one child. No go, it didn't work. And after that, I offered to be his shadow. I said, okay, let me be his shadow. I will sit in class with him. And that first day when I took him, he was like clinging to me because this is still within, this is around a month after that
Yeah.
first episode.
Yeah.
So, but he was completely clinging to me, not ready to get off my lap. And then they said, ma'am, you'll be disrupting the class, please sit outside. And do what?
Hmm.
Gave him a coloring book. He can color. And then my husband said, this is nonsense. I mean, to sit outside of class and help him with the coloring book when he's sitting on your lap, you sit at home at least.
Yeah.
And let him color or do whatever it is on your lap at home, right? At
Yeah.
least it's a comfortable environment. So then we We withdrew him from the school and had a bit of, budget with that, but then eventually it worked out because we wanted a full refund. And then started searching for therapy centers for speech, for occupational therapy, which was something that the second opinion that we went for, that doctor suggested that you also take him in for occupational therapy because his fine motor skills were also regressing. He stopped holding crayons or pencils at the time, and he was not very happy with drawing, scribbling. Saw that coloring book, he'd get irritated. And I was saying, I get him. If I was in this place, I saw that coloring book, I'd throw it in my face. That's it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so we began that, and that's where the therapy routine, etc., began. That's where our adventures in the therapy world began
Yeah.
from that
And
point.
how was that phase for you? You know?
Very horrible, extremely horrible because of everything, all that I shared, and then finally we processed what had actually happened in school with him. It took almost a month or two, and that, my God, that video is the worst horror story that I've seen in my life. It was anyway. I don't have any polite words to describe that, so I will not describe it. And apart from that, Krishna was really in a bad shape. Like I shared for 6 months, his father or I had to carry him continuously. He had a bath only once in 3 days, and that was when one of us stood with him in the shower and scream and try to take off his clothes and for us to change his diapers. And that set our thoughts off in a completely different direction because he stopped communicating very well at the time. So he had self-talk. Post school, he stopped communicating. I would not say, actually, to be fair, the school was not a trigger point for that. He had lessened communication just before we began school also, but we didn't notice it too much
Yeah.
in the course of the day and in all the the work that was there prior to admitting him into school. But post this incident, we noticed it very clearly that he would answer sometimes to questions that we asked, sometimes no. He completely stopped volunteering any information and used to volunteer a lot. He stopped initiating conversations and he used to be, such chatterbox, initiating all the time. So all of that had stopped and it was like everything was turning upside down. And whenever one of us had that, the time off, my husband was working from home for 6 months from that time because I just couldn't physically manage. I mean, I can't carry Krishna all the time to do everything in the house, right? It's like insane. So anytime that we were not caring for him, we were hunting up on what autism is because
Yeah. Yeah.
we were not normal people. We hear autism once in a while, and this was about 9 years ago. We hear the term autism once in a while. We read about it once in a bit. We watch movies like Rain Man, maybe. I mean, my generation is Rain Man. And that's about it. You
Yeah.
don't give it another thought. You don't think it's going to be such a major part of your own life.
Yeah.
You don't think that your child is going to be on the spectrum. So, what is this autism? Man, it's a social and communicative disorder. Not to worry. Krishna's just got Asperger's, or perhaps it's a mild version. Yeah. Okay, we'll see you after 6 months. Bye. That's the hospital. And I don't blame them either because you look at the queues standing outside. They're insane. The rush there is insane. So, Google. Google was our resource, and the therapist that we spoke to, and the therapy centers that we finally settled on to take Krishna to. So all of it worked because there was no school for him at that point.
Yeah.
The academic year had begun. We had to look for a place with a special educator and reasonably within drivable distance for us. And the two, three schools that we shortlisted that had the capabilities of supporting him, they did not have a vacancy at the time. So they said, "Ma'am, let's see next year." And so we were like, oh my God, he's losing an entire year of school. Ah, little did we know that school is not going to be in his future for forever after he was about, how old was he? About 6 or 7 pre-pandemic. About six, not 7. 5.5 to 6. So, yeah, it was a dreadful time. And looking back, I realized how dreadful it was because in the midst of it, literally didn't have time to breathe or even think about what's happening. It was like just move from crisis to crisis. and figure out how to firefight at the moment.
Yeah.
So barely any thought for how we take the next steps in a kind of planned way, in a steady way.
Yeah.
And no idea either about what we could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that is.
Yeah, yeah. Was there also kind of grief, for the life that could have been and the life that was at that point of time?
Not then. Not then. We didn't realize it. Not then. Because at that time it was like, oh my God, he's losing 1 year of school. So what did we think? We thought that, okay, next year he will go to a school which has the proper infrastructure to support him. And maybe he'll be a year or two back in his academics. But then we'll do all of this therapy that the doctors say, and we'll put him in the special school, and maybe we'll need a shadow teacher, maybe for maybe a couple of years more, and then all will be fine.
Yeah.
No one can disabuse us of the fact that all will not be fine because it's a completely different story that's being written for us right now that perhaps you are not aware of, but which is very different. So at the moment, no. At the moment, there was a lot of fear and a lot was unknown because we really had no clue what was happening. But it was like kind of an assumption that everything will work out after 2, 3 years. Maybe he'll be a little delayed. So our biggest worry at the point is, oh my God, he's going to lose a year of school. Because we didn't know that he would not be able to fit in school, that he
Yeah.
would not be able to cope with that atmosphere, etc. With a shadow teacher, all will be fine is the thought that we still had with the shadow teacher, with therapy and everything. Yeah, it's like a pill that you pop for a year instead of maybe 5 days. That's about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, there was no grief at that point. Just a lot of fear, anxiety, and that's it. The grief settled later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And let's talk about the good stuff. When you think about Krishna, not as a diagnosis, not as responsibilities, but as a fully formed person in himself, what are some of the things about him that absolutely delight you?
His energy, his energy, his happiness. Oh, this kid is a very happy kid. By nature, he's very, very happy. And so long as there's no pain, so he has a gut condition, etc., which kind of gives him a lot of tummy ache, migraines, and so on. But when there is no pain, or when the pain episode is over, next second there's a smile on this child's face, and he's curious, eager, inquisitive, ready to get into the next mischief possible. I
Yeah.
mean, like, where is Amma's phone? Where is that pot of water that I can destroy? How can I open the doors and dash out outside, and evade these people, going after me? So he's he's an alert, joyous kid. So
Yeah.
and he doesn't need things to make him happy, rather. He doesn't want things to make him happy. He wants to explore, he wants to explore life. And he
Yeah.
wants to explore his reality.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing thing for me. So I don't have to worry that he throw tantrums about that I want this toy or I want that object to eat. Oh, no, you give it to me. Yeah, I'll humor you and I'll examine stuff and say, okay, there, I'll play with it for 5 minutes. Now you can play with it. Thank you very much. And whatever I give him, he's ready to eat. Very explorative in that way.
Yeah.
So adventurous, happy kid, full of energy. That's Krishna.
Lovely.
And
Lovely.
he's a glorious little fellow.
Yeah. Your LinkedIn posts are just such a joy to read. And, like, tell me, how does he communicate love?
In a rather uncomfortable way for me.
Oh,
Cringe. So that is there. That's also his reaction when I'm trying to block him, but there is a difference. When he's full of excitement, he doesn't know how to control himself and he wants to hug me, he tends to pinch. And I give him, Krishna's going to get 1,000 kisses today. Very happy. Giddy, 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 very happy. And he'll offer his arm royally. Yeah, give me my kisses. Then there are rare occasions he'll come to return those kisses and I block him. Please, no, because he doesn't know you don't use teeth.
yeah.
Like, so on my shoulder or on my hand or something. So excessive joy leads to excessive pain for me. So I said, Krishna, please, baby, it's okay. Okay, I'll give you all the hugs. You're feeling very happy, use the trampoline, go run, go jump, do something like that. Or play, dash about, laugh, giggle, leave a alone. And yes, there are those calm moments of love also where, he'll come and say, okay, we are gracing you with your presence in a very royal way. This kid is a very regal kid. So he'll come, he'll make space on my lap, he'll climb on me and sit down and say, okay, come. Now you can pet me. Now you can, cuddle me or whatever it is. I am giving you permission. So like that.
Wow.
This morning, I was eating my oats after giving him breakfast, and then he wanted to explore what is Zamma's good stuff that she's hidden from me. Baby, this is not good stuff, you can't chew it, it's overnight oats. I wanted, so he came, he sat on my lap and said, "No, give me." He was going to put his hand into my bowl, so I gave him a spoonful. Tasted, okay, not bad. Drank the milk, spat out the oats, did whatever it is. And then if I put a spoonful into my mouth, he got very worried. Oh my God, this lady is eating up all my good stuff and not giving me anything. Then he would grab the cup. Yeah, okay, fine, you can take. I fed him. And then he patted me like this. Like, job well done. Then he got a couple of spoonfuls, so two, three spoonfuls, and then he was done and he went away. So these are all his ways of showing that he loves us
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
But his father is to check his beard.
Uh-huh.
So, have you shaved? Haven't you shaved? What is the stubble that you're sporting today? That kind of thing. And he likes to play with him like that.
Nice, nice. Gayatri, tell me, was there a moment when you realized you were no longer parenting from fear but from understanding and acceptance?
There must have been, but today, if you ask me, I can't pinpoint that moment.
Hmm.
So, it would not have been a threshold step, it's been a transformation. It's been a
Right.
slow transformation over the years. And the fear, by the way, is not gone completely.
Hmm.
It is still there. And I think it's also partly a fear that every parent has for their child, not just an autism parent. And perhaps a little more in our case because there is always a question of what after us.
Yeah.
Though we are planning and we are taking the steps and we are operating from a space of, abundance and not scarcity and fear. But still that fear is there. I'd say that what we've done is we've been able to close it into a box and keep it there.
Yeah.
Very much aware of it, but not letting it dictate every move or every moment in our life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is there. But what Krishna wishes to do, he does.
Hmm.
And there's no way that I'm stopping him because, again, luckily for me, very luckily, he's a very self aware child in his own way. He knows his limits, he knows his body's limits, and I need to help him regulate himself a little bit.
Yeah.
That's about it. So I have that freedom right now to let him live as fully, as joyously as he wants to in this present. So that is a
Yeah.
great gift for me that
Yeah.
Krishna has given me because he's giving me, minimal hitch in my head to worry about. Saying that all of this that I can handle, I will handle. Don't bother about me. It's
Yeah.
almost as though he's saying that. He's not saying it. They are
Yeah.
my. How do I know they're not his words? I don't.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you remember about the time when you first started trusting your own instincts more than external advice or opinions?
Yes. After that terrible school episode, and after that video that they showed me, that point, it took maybe 2, 3 months for it to kind of filter into my rather thick skull at that point. But then after that, I think we decided as a family, my husband, me, my parents, that we are the ones who get to decide what's best for Krishna and nobody else.
Yeah.
So especially this is relevant because at the time we had just started therapy, right? And in many places they wouldn't allow the parent to stay with the child during the session.
Oh,
And like that was a very easy point for me to take a decision that we are not going to that space. That
right.
we are not going. I will stay with Krishna throughout the session, I won't be carrying him or calling him on my lap. I'll sit quietly in a corner, but I will be there. I have to observe, and he has to know that I am there. So if you're not okay with this, then that helped me because I think prior to the school experience, if by chance Krishna was diagnosed before that, and
Yeah.
then the therapy center said that no, ma'am, you must wait outside. We will handle the child inside. I might have gone along with that,
Yeah.
saying that they are the
Yeah.
professionals, they are the experts, they know better. So, but after that, I know that no, I know my child better. I know what he needs, and it shall happen the way that I decide that it should happen.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah. And now I want to talk to you about your relationship with your husband. This has been, I think, a very challenging, time, as well as, I mean, of course, it is transformative. Of course, we can look at the good side, but it's also been challenging.
Very much.
Yeah. So how has this journey of parenting, Krishna, shaped your relationship with your husband, not just logistically, but also, like, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, whatever we want to call it?
I'm very lucky because I think this journey with Krishna has only, closened our bond. It's strengthened our bond, and we have grown so much closer as a couple, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything. So it's like we don't fight. We just don't fight. That's, I think that's really amazing. The smallest thing is that maybe I'll be out and I'll be yelling, put Krishna's shoes on fire, don't let him run barefoot on the road. That's the extent of the screaming and the fights that we have. Oh, why do you forget his medicines? I mean, I can't be expected to remember them all the time. Oh my God, I did forget his medicines because I yelled before it said that I will forget. You're the one who's supposed to remember. They say, oh, okay. So, yeah, and honestly, this is rather comic. These are not
Yeah.
fights. So
Yeah.
I think that for both of us, Krishna is such top priority that it
Yeah.
was instinctive for both of us to realize that we had to work absolutely together
Yeah.
and absolutely in tandem. It's no point if we're going to bring friction into our relationship for whatever reason. So perhaps if Krishna had been neurotypical, we'd have had a more of a normal relationship and more fights and more neurotypical.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
we are an autism family,
Yeah.
and we have grown together, and we have grown together, and we have grown together. If you get what I
Yeah.
mean, we've grown together
Yeah.
as individuals and
Yes.
grown together as a single unit.
Yes.
So I think it's been amazing, and I'm really blessed in that way. Hopefully, he thinks the same. If you talk to him, you can check with him. By the way, Gayatri said this. Do you feel the same?
I'll make a note of that. I love your expression of you saying that we are an autism family. Like, I have heard this for the first time, and I love this expression. It's not just the child who's autistic, it's also the everything changes in the family, and you
Yes.
evolve with the diagnosis. So I really love that expression, and I'm so glad that you said it out loud. And it is just such a beautiful way of looking at the diagnosis, not as an individual diagnosis, but also how it impacts the entire unit per se.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it does. Because all our lives have changed, and the way we approach life has changed. And this is where I guess we're going with the flow
Yeah.
because the flow is autism and it's washing us away. And there is no point in either fighting the current. Doesn't
Yeah.
work that way. If it did, I would happily fight the current. And it doesn't work if you're, all scattered, fighting each other and drifting around or thrashing around. It helps if we are all together and we are all moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
So we are an autism family, and that's the best way to approach the entire diagnosis, to approach the entire condition, because it's there for life. And as of today, there is nothing that anyone can do to change it. I know there
Yeah.
is a hot debate raging as to why you should change it, whether you should change it. But Krishna is profoundly autistic. What does that mean? He's dependent on every single need of his on
Yeah.
someone else. So, brushing his teeth, taking a bath, changing his clothes, eating, drinking, pooping, he needs help. He's not independent. And no. So, if that, I would not say that I don't want to change this. If I could change this, I very much would.
Hmm.
I want him to be self dependent. I want him to have a future where he doesn't have to depend on the kindness of others,
Yeah.
because while I can speak about the philosophy of it and say that reflects on the other person, it reflects on the how evolved the other person, the caregiver is, and their relationship with Krishna defines them. I could say all of this, but who is going to be the most deeply impacted in this relationship? It's going to be Krishna, right?
Yeah.
So if I could change that today, I would. Let me very openly state it, but I can't. So there is
Yeah.
nothing as of today that will help in that direction. So we do the best we can. And that's why we are that autism family going with the flow, going together as
Yeah.
best we can.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the middle of all this, Gayatri, how do you make space for yourself, your work, your inner world, your growth, alongside parenting and life?
It's very recently, to be very frank. It's maybe for the past couple of years, not before that. And this time in the afternoon,
Hmm.
these 3 to 3.5 hours that Krishna is in therapy. So that gives me, I think, a huge chunk of time
Yeah.
where there are no other disturbances, you could say, from my perspective. Nothing that I need to immediately worry about because Krishna settled in his therapy place very nicely. Initially, it was not that way, and I needed to be, immediately on hand all the time. So
Hmm.
maybe I needed to rush for some meltdown to give him some medicines or to help him through something. Or even if I didn't rush, then my mind was creating all the
Yeah.
emergencies that may or may not happen. So, but as he settled down, this time cleared up for me, and this is when I do my work, or this is when I just sit down like this and look at the tree and say, ah, I'm going to be a vegetable right now. So it's nice to be a vegetable sometimes, you
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so this is that me time. Apart from late nights, on
Hmm.
those nights when Krishna sleeps.
Hmm. Wow.
So, yeah, they are chunks, they are small chunks, but they are all the more precious and all the more appreciated because they are small chunks
Yeah.
and not easily available.
Yeah.
So this is the time for me, for my work
Yeah.
and for
Yeah.
meditating.
Yeah. And tell me who's part of your village? What I'm more interested in asking is actually what has helped the most in building a support system, and what has also kind of disappointed you the most about the systems that exist?
What has helped me most in building the support systems is honestly my parents being with us, my mother. So she has really been a pillar of support throughout this, and not just in a metaphoric way, because both my dad and my mom used to physically take care of Krishna till
Hmm.
their very advanced years, and Krishna's very advanced energy made that gap too huge.
Hmm.
Plus, my mom is a homeopath, so all of Krishna's, the immediate issues that he has, things like his gut issues, handling milk, and his food intolerances, all of this, those immediate pain spasms, all of this has been comparatively easy for us to handle because my mom was immediately on hand and able and competent to prescribe whatever meds that were needed at the time because allopathy did not agree with
Yeah.
Krishna at all.
Yeah.
And anyway, what can they do? The allopaths can only give you a lot of pain meds
Hmm.
or painkillers for gut spasms. This that it doesn't work all the time, and you can't keep repeating these things.
Yeah.
At least I'm not going to keep repeating these things. I'm not going to be pouring painkillers down his throat, antibiotics down his throat with a drop of a hat. So for all of this, my mom, only because she was there with us, she is there with us and able to handle all of this so beautifully and able to, tell us that this might be an issue or perhaps this is the pain or this is the reason why this aggravation has occurred. So all of that, either diet or the environment or maybe he was lying on the cold stone and playing in the wet ground for a long time. So stomach chills because of that.
Yeah.
It's not something that has occurred to me right off.
Yeah.
Because mom is there with us. So all of that has been so easy. So this part has helped me a lot. Obviously, not helped me a lot. It's been vital
Yeah.
for me to build that support system at home. Outside, I'm glad for this current therapy center, but it was quite a bit of a struggle for us to reach here. So, like I shared, simple things like the parent cannot observe the child during the therapy session, and some of the centers are only focused on the amount of money they can make. I'm all for centers charging. Please charge because it's only when you charge that you'll be able to provide quality service. But they go hand in hand. The charge is for the service that you provide. It's not
Yeah.
just that I want the charge and to, I mean, let the service be done. It should not
Yeah.
be like that. Unfortunately, that's not true of all places. So that way, and the school story, let me not even start.
Yeah.
After that very awful experience at his first school, that year he was at home. He underwent a surgery later on, about 6 months later, and he needed a recovery period after that. Lost speech because not because of that surgery, perhaps triggered by that surgery.
Yeah.
And so the next year, he was about 5, was when we went for his second school, which was a great place, frankly. So this is an inclusive school, and they had a separate setup and an iOS setup for special needs children. And Krishna actually thrived there. So he was writing and he was having exams, and I was so happy. Krishna has exams. He has to prepare. No way that he's going to prepare with Mama. So they had the preparatory sessions in the school itself. And he was able to add. So he knew that if there was one rabbit in this field and another rabbit dropped into the field, how many rabbits are there? He'll pick up the number 2 and show you.
Oh.
So, but that was prior to the next skill question because he regressed once more and lost these skills too. But the infrastructure in the school, the staff in the school, that was amazing. So that was a wonderful experience for me, which I could not continue because pandemic happened around that time. So at the
Yeah.
end of that year, this was 2018 to 2019. 2019, I think March was when the first lockdown began. And if I'm not messed up the dates, which I'm fully capable of doing.
I think it was 2020 when.
20? Then it's 2019, 2020 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020. 2020 March, right?
Yes.
Then 2019 was, yeah, 2019 was when he began that year, in that academic year. So 2020, when the lockdown began, that was when we had to phase out of the school because they transited to online
Online.
classes, online lessons, and more. If my kid saw that phone or saw the laptop, he would close it and go. That was Krishna in a very benevolent mood. Krishna in a bad mood would pick it up and go play frisbee with the device. So I stopped the school at the time. And post the pandemic lockdown, he had regressed much more, lost many more skills, and school wouldn't have helped him at all. So he, at that time, he needed a one-on-one therapy setup kind of a therapy kind of setup for him to,
Yeah.
learn something more, learn a few skills to advance, and however much he could advance. So that's where he is even today.
Yeah.
And so, along this journey, this current therapy place is a place where I found a lot of support otherwise for him. Excuse me. Where it's helped me uh, take him through hospital experiences or basic stuff. You need a blood test, you need to get your hair cut, you need to get your
Yeah.
nails cut. Simple stuff, day to day living stuff, living activities that for that I found a lot of help in this current center. So that's been great till now.
Yeah.
But again, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So managed to find this place.
Yeah, yeah, that's. Tell me, you have been so vocal. At least the you that I know of whatever I know of
Hmm.
you. How do you advocate for Krishna in institutions like healthcare spaces, public environments, without losing yourself in the emotional labor of that advocacy?
Very difficult. And I had practiced in this end of 2024. So where Krishna was admitted for a constipation management procedure in a very well known, very good children's hospital, I would say. But I was frankly appalled at the lack of knowledge, literally, as to how to handle a child on the autistic spectrum who has sensory issues, who's profoundly autistic, who cannot communicate. So it was like everyone was very, very sweet. But just being very sweet doesn't help
Yeah.
because you need to be aware and you need to at least be able to listen to the parents when they tell you that you need to do A, B, C, D for my child to be comfortable. So that experience actually prompted me to start writing about Krishna on LinkedIn, prompted me to reach out to the hospital for them to, have an awareness training or something like that for everyone because it doesn't seem to be common knowledge.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, that was when I got pulled out of my own shell. My shell was me, Krishna, his universe. It doesn't matter what's happening outside because this itself was enough to take up all my time and all my attention. So at that moment in the hospital, advocating for Krishna was very difficult. Like you said, for me to pull myself out of the immediacy of the situation, out of the emotions of that situation was very difficult. It was the first time. Today I'm prepared. Today I know exactly what to ask for and how to explain his situation, how to explain what he needs, the accommodations that he needs, and how to pull out if it's not being met, and how to, ask for these accommodations to happen for him.
Yeah.
So that episode prepared me for this, but without that, no. So at that time, I was like one step off a meltdown myself. I mean, like I could afford to melt down, so it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
control
Yeah.
yourself kind of thing. But
Yeah. Yeah.
very difficult.
Yeah.
But I learned from that, so that's where I'm going from today.
Yeah. 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 Do you ever think about the future, the adolescence, adulthood, independence, and how do you hold hope and uncertainty together?
It's become a way of life for us, I think, holding that hope and uncertainty together. I don't know what joys adolescence are going to bring, what new challenges adolescence is going to bring. So, but we will cross it when it comes to that. And the one thing that I can share is that I'm 99.9% sure that Krishna is sure of his love with us. He knows that he's safe. He knows that he's loved. He knows that he has a space to, lash out, yell, scream, misbehave, which is just when it's not misbehavior. It's when this threshold is crossed, when his limits are crossed, and there's nothing he can do about it. So, but he knows that whatever behavior he shows, quote unquote, for lack of a better word, for whatever he does during his meltdowns, he knows that he will still be safe and loved during and after. So I think when he carries that sense across with him into adolescence, whatever challenges that might bring, it should help. I think it should help him regulate himself better. It should help him come to us, to his father or me, in whatever way that he can,
Yeah.
for whatever support that he needs. So I'm hopeful that that will happen.
Yeah.
And as to his independence, I still think that to a large extent, we will be able to help him become self dependent at least. To handle his own tasks. And it's not going to be following a normal timeline, a natural timeline, neurotypical timeline, whichever label that we want to add
Yeah.
to it. It will
Yeah.
happen on Krishna's own time. And want to be supremely grateful for whatever it is that he can achieve. It's like that's my favorite comparison, It's like a person with no legs and with only one arm, which is also not functioning properly, is going to attempt to climb the Everest. And
Yeah.
they're going to succeed most of it. Or even if they reach till base camp and then cross however few
Yeah.
thousands
That's
of feet after
bonus.
that, it's bonus, it's amazing, and it's
Yeah.
so inspiring. So
Right.
that is my perspective that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, my job is tough. His father's job is tough because we have to figure out how to meet the gap, but we'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where uncertainty and hope walk hand in hand
Yeah.
very beautifully.
Yeah. And for parents navigating autism, especially those in early stages, what do you wish someone had told you?
I wish I had more people to talk to who had just undergone that experience and I also wish there was someone who could have shown me the other side of the coin because I did speak to a few parents. And all those parents were those very lovely success stories, I would say, very inspiring success stories where the child has had a really tough time when they were 7, 8, 9, 10, but managed to grow out of it and managed to achieve a huge amount of success, I would say. I mean, if you're living independently and holding a job, that's a huge amount of success.
Yeah.
So, those are the wonderful, very lovely, inspiring stories. I wish there were also someone who had lived the other side of the coin, like me. That's what I'm living right now.
Yeah.
So not to frighten me at the time,
Yeah.
not to dishearten me at the time, but just maybe a kind of preparation that this is also possible, but it still doesn't mean it's the end of the world. So
Yeah.
there is still so much that you can do. There is still so much of joy that you can experience. And there are so many challenges that you'll have to cross, but it's okay. You'll cross them, that kind of thing. To give you the reassurance of the strength that, look, that person out there has actually been there, done that, and
Yeah.
they're still happy, they're still sane, and they're still having a great life with their child. So I wish there was someone who could have showed me that. I didn't meet such a person at the time. And it's okay, because now my own life is set.
Yeah. 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 That's true. That's true. And tell me, what does a good day look like in your family?
Today, today has been an extremely good day because Krishna slept well
Oh,
and he got up in the morning in a nice mood, in a nice temper, played in the sun, ate his breakfast with minimal fuss, enjoyed his baths, permitted me to brush his teeth, and very happily got ready and came for his therapy center. So that's
wow.
an extremely good day. And the extremely good day will continue if he manages to poop in the evening and then giggles through the night and sleeps by around 11:30. That's
Wow.
a decent time for me. Because he'll start winding down from 9 o'clock
Yeah.
after, going for rounds in my community or trying to catch all the creepy crawlies running around in my lawn after 8 o'clock. So things will get into you because he'll lie down on the grass and he'll be examining all the blades of grass at night.
Wow.
During the day, I'll let him because it's only going to be ads. At night, I don't know what is going to be lurking around in the grass to get into his ear or his clothes or whatever it is. So that will be like major jagda. Krishna, get up. And he's going to say, get lost, mom. Then comes the bribes that come, we'll run outside or come, I'll take you for a round in the car and he will consider it. Shall we not? Because all of this is good. All of this fighting is good. All of this roaming around in the night is good. So long as the pain doesn't set in, it's a good day.
Yeah.
So my husband and I will take shifts, literally.
Yeah.
So one person handles Krishna and the other one, does their own work. I mean, rest
Yeah.
a little if you can, which is very optimistic of me, but at least get some food inside, at least have coffee.
Yeah.
And my parents need care.
Yeah.
So they're really getting on in laws. So they need some care at the time. So you can switch roles and do that.
Yeah. 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 And
Krishna's
Gayatri,
others.
yeah, yeah. Tell me, please.
No, I was just going to share that Krishna's other set of grandparents are no more. Otherwise, I'd have had two more people to add to Krishna's fan club, like handle him realistically.
Yeah. 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 I always like to ask my guests this question. If you could sit across from the version of yourself before parenting, young, maybe unaware of what lay ahead, what would you tell her?
Hmm, I would tell her, beware what you wish for, because then you'll actually get it. And then the younger me will look at me and say, what are you talking about? I mean, makes sense. Because I have moods and it's like, don't go for it. Don't be a fool and, get yourself in for so much of work because physically it is a lot of work. I
Yeah.
feel. Just be your happy, bindas self that you are right now. And then there'll be the other version of me which will say that happy, bindas self will not stay the happy, bindas self, right? That self will also have a growth, will also have an evolution, and might think that where are my kids? Why didn't I go the parenting route?
Yeah.
So there is actually nothing much that current me can tell the younger me. Apart from saying that, go for it, do whatever it is that you want to, and make your decisions right once you take them.
Yeah.
That's the only way to learn life.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And we are coming to an end of this conversation, even though I don't want this to end, but we have to, take care of all our commitments. So, if you could leave our listeners with one thought, one truth that feels authentically yours, what would you want them to carry with them?
So stay in the present, plan for the future while staying in the present, learn from the past, but leave the past be. Because I've gone through a phase where I've had a lot of regrets, and I wondered whether I have taken the right choice, I have made the right decision at every point, second guessing myself at every point. So it doesn't help. That kind of looking back, that kind of regret really doesn't help. All you need to do is to learn from whichever situation you have crossed.
Yeah,
Because there's nothing you can do about it. It's the past. There's nothing I can do about what happened to Krishna that first week in his first school. But I can learn from it and move on, not dwell on it and make myself miserable. I need to plan for this future. That fear for this future is very much there. But I can't let that fear overwhelm me so that, I'm petrified today. And I'm not able to take the joy or take the lessons or whatever it is that today has to offer.
yeah,
So plan for the future, but then, don't let it engulf your present. Your present is what you have, stay in it.
yeah.
However horrible, wonderful, miserable it might be, let it flow through.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say there's something profoundly grounding about the way you speak. It's just so nice to hear you talk, Gayatri. Thank you. Thank you for being here and choosing to share your story with us.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you so much for having me here and letting me share all that I want to share. So it's been wonderful talking to you.
Same here, pleasure. And to everyone listening, if this conversation resonated, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe, send us a message, pass the link forward. These stories are meant to be heard, held, and passed along. This is Parenthood. I am Neha, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.